Now I'm just going to dig a little deeper into the stroke menu and ways you can use it, just a couple of extra functions. And then we're going to be looking at masking and how that works with DMFX and how you can use the alphas for masks. And then I am going to quickly cover the move tool, the main move, scale, rotate quickly, and then we're going to get into painting. We've just got a standard brush here. Let's make it a completely standard brush because that's one with back face masking. This by default is actually switched on, but I wanted to talk about the lazy mouse and a little bit about the lazy snap and backtrack and how that works with the brushes and why it could be useful to you. So we have this head form of this woman with her eyes closed, and we've got a standard brush and we've got the lazy mouse. Now one of the things quickly, you can switch that on and off with the L key, so that's the shortcut for that. And as we discussed before, what if we look at the red circle as a puck, it's showing the area where the mouse is. Now we're not getting a very steady stroke here, so I'm just going to undo those. So we drag over and we get a stroke. The lazy radius can be increased, and this will help you smooth out your stroke to get a much smoother stroke. You can increase the lazy smooth, and that will smooth out the stroke. It's not so perceivable there, but you possibly will see the effect. But one of the things that I glossed over last time was lazy snap, and this is actually quite interesting. And this really is something, if you're trying to, let's say, sculpt a mask, which you could quite easily do on a character like this, and you wanted to get sort of harder edges. So you take your stroke, and let's just do that again and increase the radius up. So you will notice the brush moves quite a distance away and moving. And then the stroke is evened out and we get quite a straight line. But the lazy snap will snap to the end of the last stroke. Again, snapping to the end of the stroke, if you can see that, and that will just keep on going. So wherever the end of the last stroke was, it will snap to it, and that's what that function is. Something that's more useful if you're doing semi-mechanical sculpting, but you may get some value out of that for organic modeling. And then backtrack, I'm going to change the brush to something severe. Let's just switch that off first and just show you. Chisel brushes cut in, and they're very much like mechanical. They give you a very mechanical form like a milling machine, but the lazy radius is quite high. But if we undo that and we go to backtrack, and let's turn the default, because I was using this before, I believe the default is around 30. So let's have a look at that. Well, that is cutting in perfectly. Before, I found that it wasn't cutting in, so I had to increase this track curvature, and then it did make the grade. And those are just a couple of extra tools that you have in there, which for predominantly mechanical modeling can be very useful. And then one last thing, I'm just going to turn over to the standard brush. Something we didn't really cover at all was the drag dot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this this boil. I'm going to increase the draw size, and take it out of symmetry mode. So I pressed X and turn off lazy mouse. Increase that quite a lot. So what happens is that I'm left mouse clicking, and this, as you can see, this boil now is snapping to the surface, and as soon as I say I want this to be in the corner of the nose here, I just let go and it's kind of locked to the surface. And then the next stroke, you drag it around and it locks the surface, and it will lock anywhere, like it's all over that ear. And it basically just snaps to the surface normals, and then you let go. I'll make that a bit bigger so it's a bit more apparent. And that's just another feature. That's just another tool, and you might like working with that. We've looked at L as a shortcut, the lazy snap, which snaps it to the end of the stroke, more for mechanical, and then you've got the line plane, spline, and backtrack, and you can turn the curvature up if for any reason you get sometimes like a hole in the center of the stroke, and likewise it will snap more to the surface normal, so the stroke will cut over the surface. And I think that pretty much wraps that up.